What's going on, guys? Hey, listen, we've got a fragrance from the house of Essential Parfums, and I'm not sure if we've done anything from that house so far. We're reviewing a fragrance that features a note that I'm incredibly passionate about, might be in my top three favorite notes in perfumery, and I'm hoping they bring some heat with this one because I have quite a high requirement and high bar set for fragrances that feature this note. So strap up, we're going for a ride.
Okay. I watch that head move side to side as I let this in into the room. You were on top, let's connect minds. Trying to get into a mood. We gon' be fine. Close up the blinds, no rush. Finish the food.
All right, welcome to the Scent Bubble. I am your host for the evening. Hey, check this out, guys. From the house of Essential Parfums, we have Mon Vetiver. I wonder, vetiver is used in almost all of perfumery. It's been used since the beginning of time with perfumery. And I'm interested in where you guys are as a community with vetiver. I know some people feel vetiver can be challenging, but I honestly feel like vetiver is like vanilla or, iris, things like that. I find that it's not the vetiver's fault why it's hard to find good vetiver fragrances. It's that they are such dynamic of notes that they're challenging to perfumers to make perfection out of them, because a lot of times you can mess it up real fast by adding too many things to it or not having a good blend or messing with bad chemicals and things like that. But as much as I love vetiver, there's probably only like 4 or 5, maybe 10 fragrances that have vetiver forwardness that I would even recommend. And I'm an absolute lover of vetiver. So stay with vetiver, guys. I mean, most of the fragrances you love have vetiver in the base in trace amounts to complicate and bring complexity and dimension to a fragrance, bring earthiness to a fragrance. But there are other fragrances that vetiver is more the star of the show, and they are excellent. Vetiver Sensual is a wonderful fragrance, Tom Ford Grey Vetiver, and many others. So with that being said, let's go ahead and dive into Mon Vetiver by Essential Parfums. I have to use my skinny strip with this one, so we've soaked half the strip. I'm going to let that sit for a second, and we are going to apply to skin. I'm interested. Have you guys tried Essential Parfums? I feel like I've tried a lot from the house, but I've never really spoken about it. Maybe because I haven't got decants when I tried them. Maybe I was trying them in the boutiques and whatnot. So let's see if I can, while this fragrance is drying down, because I juiced it up quite a bit, let's see if we can get some information. So, Essential Parfums Paris, it says Mon Vetiver by Bruno Jovanovic, I don't know. Is there any information? Fragrance launched in 2018. No story to speak of, but I'm assuming and expecting vetiver forwardness. For those of you guys who are new to the note of vetiver, it is a tall grass that, depending on how it's extracted and cultivated, it can read a lot of different ways. Linen-y, woody, soapy, clean, green, inky, smoky. It just can go so many different directions. And so you could smell 2 vetiver fragrances that smell nothing alike due to the type of vetiver being used. There's Haitian vetiver, bourbon vetiver, a lot of different types of vetiver as well, but then it's the concentration and how it's harvested, things like that. So you can just do a lot with it. Okay, I was just killing time. Let's see what this fragrance is like. Okay, I'm really going to spend a lot of time with this on camera just because I feel like it's going to have a lot of transition. In the air, it feels like typically you get 2 things with vetiver fragrances that are forward with vetiver. You get either a super traditional woody vetiver with characteristics that feels more woody in nature, and so it can be, smoky or fresh or resinous, woody, green, clean. Or you can kind of get this overly bright, airy vetiver that feels more lighter in weight. And because of that, you can give it characteristics like make it sparkle, like a like a Roja vetiver, something like that. A vibrant vetiver delight, which kind of goes this radiant citrus vetiver. You can do a lot because it's nice and airy and clean, and then you could take it whatever direction you want. This feels somewhere in the middle. You know, it feels somewhat traditional, but it's very clean. It's very citric, but it has a light airiness similar to a lot of the Aqua Allegoria fragrances from Guerlain. Like I immediately think of it either like a lunar vetiver from Amarud, or what is the other vetiver fragrance? Definitely Amarud's. Aqua Allegoria Neroli vetiver. Somewhere between that and the other one I mentioned. Again, it's a little bit grassy. It's very woody. It's aromatic. It's clean. It's green. It's a little bit weighty, but it also feels modern and clean. You know, the thing about Tom Ford Grey Vetiver is it's a clean vetiver, but it's more of a soapy vetiver. There is a spritz, a musty kind of dampness to it, a bite to it. This is more just straight, clean-cut, airy. You know what I mean? Airy, grassy, citric, woody, aromatic. But it feels modern. On skin, I lose a bit of the grassy vetiver bite in the air and the airiness of it. It goes more earthy and flat and more citric. I don't like the transition so far. And again, I juiced my skin, and I feel like this might struggle against the elements outside. I feel like the sun would evaporate this. But if you're somebody who likes more of a skin scent vetiver that just presents you as clean and in kind of this aromatic freshness, I think this might be for you. But you might have to douse yourself. I'm really curious to see what the longevity and projection is on this. I can't imagine too much projection. 3.75 out of 5. Out of a pretty decent sample size. So it's a little bit below average by most people. Again, like I said, it feels somewhere between traditional and modern. It's traditional in nature, but it's very airy, which leads, you know, I like airy fragrances that are light with vetiver in the modern time because they typically come across more modern and timeless. Haitian vetiver, lime, gin, juniper, lavender, cashmere, and patchouli, and gentiana. I don't get much of the cashmerean or the patchouli. This feels like very much so these four right here: juniper, gin, lime, and Haitian vetiver, mostly. Yeah, it's not even really floral. Let's see what the longevity is. So a lot in the moderate category, a lot in the intimate category as far as sillage. There are some people who feel like this is weak. So I would imagine that if you aren't shy with your sprays and can go 6 to 10 sprays, you'll at least get 6 hours of it, but probably within a 2-foot projection with not a lot of sillage. This would be like probably an incredible office scent, clean-cut suit type of scent, collared tee scent, golfing scent, business meeting scent, things like that. Casual date during the day type of scent. And look at this. We've named a lot of these. So Zazan, which is a vetiver fragrance, I believe, even maybe a little bit lighter than the Vetiveria or whatever that Ormond Jane just recently put out. Vetiver Parfum Cologne, which I made mention of earlier. And then Tom Ford Grey Vetiver, obviously. It is downvoted in this, but you can tell that as people try to see what this reminds them of, that's the direction they go, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the same scent profile. It just made people feel that way. Original Vetiver from Creed. What else do we have? Guerlain's Vetiver. And I do think, despite all of the downvotes, that is pretty darn accurate. Vetiver Sensuel. They're just vetiver extraordinaire. They're just naming every vetiver. Oh, I didn't know Lanvin has a vetiver. What are they rating that? 3.69. Okay. I think I actually might be getting this one in the mail. It's crazy, guys. I'm now at the point where so many fragrances are coming in, I'm forgetting where I purchased them and when I purchased them. It's getting kind of nuts, but it's to your guys' benefit, and I'm at this point more about the journey and because I have really high requirements in terms of what I add to my collection at this point. So, but I have the finances to be able to enjoy my journey without having to penny pinch and freak out over purchases. So I realize not everybody is in that situation, but hey, that's why you're watching my channel. So you can learn off of my, wins and my mistakes. And to me, it's all good because it's more about the journey than arriving anywhere anytime soon. I want to be able to enjoy fragrance. I'm not trying to cash my journey right off the bat. Okay, so let me kind of consolidate this for you, and then we will wrap up. It says it's a unisex fragrance, which, to be honest, I can agree with, only under the pretense that, ladies, you have to be into vetiver fragrances, that clean, slightly woody, slightly grassy scents, maybe a Chanel Sycamore, Parfum Cologne vetiver from Roja, Guerlain's vetiver, the Aqua Allegoria series, anything from that. If you're into any of those fragrances I named as a woman, then this is absolutely okay to go into. It is citrus, it is clean, fresh, airy woods, and it is light and gentle like women are. And so I think with women approaching a fragrance like this, they just don't want a very heavy, cluttery vetiver, because then it does feel manly and aggressive. I think gentle, airy vetiver on women is very classy, very beautiful, especially when it goes citric or floral. So I do think it's accurate that this is unisex, but not for every woman. You have to be a woman that is okay with stuff like this. Your everyday woman who's never smelled a vetiver fragrance, things like that, they're going to think this is dry, uninteresting, not pretty. You know what I'm saying? You have to be kind of a more abstract, peculiar type of woman that just doesn't always see scents as gender and doesn't necessarily wear fragrances for other people. You got to be your own individual with your own mind to even approach vetiver, I feel. But this is well done, ladies. If you're into vetiver at all, I think you could totally pull this off. As far as, and I think ageless, the older you are, the more you appreciate vetiver, I feel. But I will call it ageless. For my men out there, I genuinely feel like with this fragrance, it is ageless. Now, with that being said, I don't think people under 25 as a guy would appreciate the clean dryness of a fragrance like this. They might prefer something more like a Bleu de Chanel or Armani Code. Or a Sauvage EDT, something a little more aggressive and out there, not something so quiet and clean. You really have to be with fragrances for a while to appreciate the close proximity fragrances, because they whisper their complexity. They're not loud with it. So if you can't tune into that frequency and that intimacy of that type of fragrance, you won't even smell it, and you will automatically think it's weak, it lacks complexity, and all that stuff. So there is, for that reason, it's a more mature scent, because you have to have the wisdom and understanding to appreciate that just because it's not loud doesn't mean it's not complex and elegant. I really like this. Any season, any reason. Spring, summer, fall, winter. I think fall and winter would be tough because the elements would dry up a fragrance like this. I think it would hold up better in heat and lower, more kind of warm, cool climates. But yeah, this is just a clean scent, super office safe, super suit and tie safe. Again, it can be classy, casual, work related, semi-formal related. It's not star-studded, but it is elegantly, beautifully clean and simple whisper fancy. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I really like it. I don't think it's special, especially when I think about the vetivers. Like, in my mind, immediately, Vetiver Sensual is better. Roja's vetiver is better. Guerlain's vetiver, at least the parfum concentration, is better. Aqua Allegoria Neroli vetiver, better. But this is right behind it all. I'm curious to see real quick what the price is. So, okay, this is a refill, a 5-ounce refill for 85 bucks. Okay, so Mon Vetiver is 80 bucks for 100 mil. I mean, this is super fairly priced, guys. Super fairly priced. Now, a lot of the other fragrances I named you can get for around this price point too. But let me just tell you guys, you know, it's not the moon and the stars for vetiver, but I always respect when vetiver is done in a clean, balanced way. And because I do think the vetiver is treated so beautifully with this. So if you find yourself coming across a fragrance that you need clean for office safe and feels elegant, I do think it's worth the money. It's very well done. I just think in its price point, there's some more star-studded vetivers that have a little bit more in the projection, a little bit more in the longevity, maybe even a little bit more in the brightness and complexity with this vetiver citrus type of combo, all of the fragrances I named before it. But it is high quality. Like, as a fragrance, I give it 8. I really do. I do think it's above average vetiver. You know, yeah, no, I feel comfortable with that. Solid 8. It's not like if it's in the decimals, it's not going above a 8.0 or anything like that, but above average. I mean, if I had this fragrance, I would wear it every day to work. No problem. Not over my other fragrances, but you know what I'm saying? If I was in a situation where it's close to all I had, it wouldn't take any confidence away from me wearing this. I'd feel really good wearing this. I would douse myself in it though, 6 to 10 sprays minimum. Maybe even layer with something like this. This would be a great layering fragrance. You know, you throw some imagination on this, any kind of your outdoor, you know, you throw this under like a tropical scent. Now you have more of a balanced manliness to something that feels a little more juvenile. I mean, could be an incredible layering fragrance. 80 bucks, 100 mil? Yeah, sign me up. Anyways, this was Essential Parfums Mon Vetiver. I give it a solid 8. Yeah, you know, I'm not hating on it. It just, you know, it's 5th place in the race, but I would not tell you guys not to buy something like this. This is a good fragrance. And in fact, if you don't like your vetiver super loud and like it a little more conservative, but still have the complexity and the elegance and the lasting power, this is going to be solid. You know, sometimes you can't always trust the reviews. You know, you don't know what people are looking for and why they give something a certain rating. It's not always because the fragrance is bad. It just might not do what they want it to do. But anyways, guys, like, comment, subscribe. More importantly, turn on that notification bell. Talk to me. I do talk back. I'm going to recommend 2 videos for you. One that I think you'll really enjoy, and let the algorithm pick one for you that they think you will enjoy based off what you've been searching online for fragrance content. So click one of the videos and keep the show rolling. I'm out of here, but you can stay a while. And we love you guys, man. Again, if you have anything to say, talk to me, man. I do talk back. And until next time, hope you guys stay blessed. Peace.